AI has clearly been a pretty exciting space. ChatGPT was released in November 2022. I think it really kind of culminated a lot of both technical as well as kind of changes in the data space and compute to really get to where that was. And I think we've had a lot of fun at Compose working with clients to really understand what generative AI is capable of. What are the classes of problems that it's good at, as well as obviously, really importantly, what it's not good at. I think a lot of people look at generative AI as this magic box that can do anything. And I think as we've worked with our clients, there's definitely strengths and weaknesses that we've identified. And it's very critical for us to keep in mind as we try to identify good use cases, good problems for our clients to kind of tackle with AI, as well as how do you actually go and technically solve some of those. As we think about AI, it's really around the history. Even over the last 2.5 years, it's probably been one of the most rapid technological innovation time periods since, not even since anything. So I think the cloud obviously took 5, 10, 15 years. Mobile was a very quick trend after the iPhone was released. AI, at least in my technical experience, have not really seen something move this quickly. We're talking typically, years, quarters, we're talking weeks, days of innovation with a lot of these technologies. So something that we've been trying to do at Compose is really help our clients understand what's available to them, as well as like, how do you navigate that? And, a lot of 2023 was really focused on how do we understand, the use of ChatGPT. Copilot was relatively new. A lot of people were looking at it more as a chat-based interface. So how do I interact with this for creative reasons, to kind of brainstorm? And I think what we began to see towards the end of 2023 and into 2024 was more of a shift towards some of your enterprise use cases. So how do you kind of apply that for business? And a big part of that was trying to get access to enterprise data, either the systems or the types of data that existed, so you could really customize those solutions for your specific needs versus what is just typically out of the box from ChatGPT. So as part of that, retrieval augmented generation, so RAG was kind of a really weird buzzword in kind of early 2024, but now it seems to be pretty commonplace. And I think it's a pretty great way of kind of somewhat decoupling the AI capabilities that these large language models are able to do more from a reasoning standpoint, and the data that you actually need to be able to kind of solve or work through business challenges. So we've seen clients look at using RAG to kind of expose information that they have that to a much broader audience, so they can kind of offload some of their key knowledge workers. It also has kind of begun to enable a lot more automation. So if you're able to use retrieval augmentation on various documents, could kind of speed various workflows and either putting them together or summarizing, or even identifying, particular risks over time with your contracts and being able to kind of, track that over time. So a lot of 2024 was really around information. And how do you go kind of couple that enterprise information with the capabilities that were being made available from your generative AI and large models? Especially probably the second half of 2024 and going into this year, I think agents has been a really, really critical buzzword. I think mainly around how do you start providing some autonomy, some agency to some of these solutions? So, how do you provide them a goal or kind of a problem domain and really having them go solve the problem? And that, I think, is a very powerful shift. So away from this kind of chat-based or kind of data interaction model, and really trying to kind of identify what do I want to accomplish, and then having these AI solutions to really target kind of actually solving those. So we've been working with a lot of our clients to understand how adding kind of agents into kind of the tech stacks that we've been targeting for AI really kind of helps expand the use cases, as well as the ways that they're trying to kind of tackle some of those problems. And it really focused on like automation. So I think we've been spending a lot of time understanding some of the key business pain points. Where are either areas of the business that they're interested in scaling more quickly, or where are the areas where there are some friction points, so there's opportunities for cost savings or kind of improvements. And really this agent-based approach towards generative AI has been really applicable to that. There's been a really large focus on reasoning. So beyond kind of this ability of agents to automate specific activities, obviously you want to have more capabilities for them to be able to solve more complex types of problems. And, in some cases it might be closed domain. So if there's a very specific area that really doesn't necessarily require a lot of broader context, how do you have more intelligent decisions to be made? But also I think we're beginning to see a lot more interest in kind of these more open-ended reasoning domains. So like kind of just what people typically have to solve on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's been really fascinating to see how a lot of these AI new technologies, especially as you look at OpenAI with their O1, O3 models, and even DeepSeek with their R1 model, really looking at how do you expand the reasoning capabilities and allow these agents, these large language models, to do a more effective job, kind of solving business problems for our customers. It's been a pretty exciting time. I think 2023 was a little bit harder to kind of keep up. I think last year, we've begun to see a lot more kind of standard patterns in the way that people are adopting generative AI, as well as the technical tech stacks behind the scenes. Ideally, really in 2025, we're looking forward to continuing to work with our clients as well as new clients to really identify new business problems, continue to kind of build tech stacks with AI that are expand, are modular, that allow them to kind of continue to grow as new technologies get released on a weekly, monthly basis, and continue to see where generative AI will reach us. I think there's a lot of hype. I think we'll definitely be going through some ups and downs in terms of what value is delivered or not. But I think as you look at some of these larger historical macro trends like the cloud, like PCs, like mobile, really, we are really focused on like, what is that broader landscape? What are the broader trajectory of what this is enabling us to do, and how do we help, match that with our customer problems?